The EFF has vowed to shut down South Africa on Monday. Party leader Julius Malema says they will protect the country with their bodies, but has denied the party is inciting violence or encouraging acts of intimidation. He says it is up to the police to arrest those that engage in criminality. For more on this, we're joined by National Police Spokesperson Colonel Athlenda Mathe. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time this afternoon. Come Monday the 20th, what is the position of the South African Police Services?
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. A good afternoon to you and to your viewers. And it's Brigadier Athlenda Mathe, not Colonel. So we would like to take this opportunity as the National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure to inform the country at large that there will be no national shutdown. There is no such a thing as a national shutdown. We do know of a planned protest that will be taking place on Monday. So we are basically informing the nation and assuring them that businesses and services will be fully functional and operational. As the Nat Joints, we have put measures in place to ensure that we prevent and combat any forms of criminality. And basically, we are not going to be allowing any lawlessness. We are not going to be allowing any acts of criminality.
Brigadier Mathe, I see that we are losing our connection to Brigadier Mathe as she is explaining what the police have on their side come Monday the 20th of March. Unfortunately, we've lost that connection. We'll re-establish it to get you the latest detail. But in a nutshell, Brigadier Mathe is saying there will be no national shutdown. They are aware of a planned protest, and she says that businesses will be open and fully functional. Police are on standby to make sure that there will be no acts of criminality. Brigadier Mathe, I believe that you are back with us. Please finish your thought as you were mentioning that businesses will be open and fully functional and the police are ready to act on any elements of criminality.
So absolutely, we are not going to allow any lawlessness and any acts of criminality. We will not allow any barricading of national, provincial and municipal roads. We are not going to be allowing any forms of burning of tires, blockading of roads, any looting. We are therefore calling on all South Africans to work together with members of the South African Police Service to ensure that we prevent and combat, but most importantly, we uphold and enforce the law.
The leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters has just given a briefing where he mentioned that the likes of Transnet, for instance, has issued letters to their ports to say there should not be trucks that are going there, no less fuel trucks. And so when you're saying that you will not allow for the closure of national roads, meaning that the police will be stationed at all major strategic points?
Absolutely. We are mobilizing all our resources to ensure that we heighten police visibility. We are assuring South Africans that as the Nat Joints, we have put measures in place to ensure the safety and security of everyone in the country. We are taking this opportunity to also remind organizers of these planned protest that it is their responsibility to ensure that their participants abide by the rules and laws of this country. And we are reaffirming our stance as the Nat Joints that we are not going to be allowing any lawlessness to take place. Any contravention of the law we will ensure that we respond within the confines of the law. So we do have an operational plan which is currently unfolding. Our prof joints as well, they are busy putting measures in place to ensure that we have contingency plans to ensure that we prevent and combat any forms of criminality. So this is just to assure South Africans that there will be no national shutdown because the Nat Joints has put measures in place. We know of a planned protest, but equally so, members of the public need to also come on board, work together with law enforcement, and most importantly, report any wrongdoing, report any suspicious activities, either to their nearest police station or to the Crime Stop hotline number on 08600 10111.
You speak of mobilizing resources. What does that look like? The leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters in his briefing addressing a question that was put to him in the form of a particular Mr. Johan Boysen, who has allegedly written to the police commissioner, Mr. Fani Masemola, the leader of the EFF going as far as saying that he's gotten intelligence that the commissioner of police is planning to use violence, or rather take a harsh stance towards protesters. What will the posture of the police be towards the protesters, number one? Number two, will you be working with private security, and this mobilizing of resources, does it include the army or is it just the police?
Okay. While we do not discuss operational plans and decisions in the public domain, we would like to assure members of the public that our members will execute their duties within the confines of the law. All law enforcement agencies will apply minimum force that is reasonable and necessary depending on the circumstances on the ground. As I've indicated, as the National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure, which is a government structure comprising of various government departments led by the SAPS, SANDF, and SSA, we have put measures in place. We are working closely. We know that the intelligence community is also on the ground when they are monitoring the situation. We are going to be working closely with private security. As you know, they remain our eyes and ears on the ground. They are seen as a force multiplier. So we are coordinating, we are mobilizing our plans, and we would like to assure South Africans that there will be no national shutdown. We are ready, we are prepared, we are already on the ground to prevent and combat any forms of criminality.
The leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters during his briefing saying that a protest has no formula, they do not have a permit, but also there is no gathering or starting point and an end point. Wherever people are and they want to gather, they can gather there and meet at strategic points. So how comfortable are you that you will have your hands on all the touch points in the country?
So absolutely, it is quite important that in line with the Gatherings Act number 205 of 1993, we are urging and we are expecting the organizers and conveners of this planned protest to take the necessary steps to ensure that the gathering at all times proceeds in an orderly, responsible and accountable manner. It is also the organizers' responsibility to ensure that their participants or their supporters demonstrate or gather, and in doing so, they abide by the law, the laws of this country, and no incidents of lawlessness takes place. As I've indicated, as the Net Joints, we are mobilizing all our resources to ensure that we prevent and combat any acts of criminality. But what is also important is that communities need to play an active role in working together with members of the South African Police Service, as I've indicated, when they know of any wrongdoing, where they know of any suspicious activities taking place, they should immediately report it to their nearest police station or call the Crime Stop Athlenda number on 0600 10 111. But what is also important, and I think that needs to also come out, we know that on Monday, the school children are not going to school. We would like to utilize this opportunity to urge parents to encourage their children to abide by the laws of this country, not to involve themselves in any forms of criminality, because having a criminal record may hamper their future ability to secure employment. So it's quite important that everyone in this country plays an active role. They become responsible citizens and not take part in incidents or conduct that may land them up on the wrong side of the law. But just to assure South Africans that we are out there, we are on high alert to ensure the safety and security of everyone. We will be manning all major routes, all national key points, all the business sites, to ensure that no lawlessness takes place, to ensure that everyone in this country is and feels safe.
Brigadier Mathe, I think you've said twice now that there is no national shutdown. You are aware of a protest. Why are you not characterizing it as a national shutdown, as the organizers have said?
Because basically what we are saying as the National Joint Operational Intelligence Structure, we are not going to allow a national shutdown. We are there, we have mobilized all our resources, we are on the ground to prevent and combat any forms of criminality. Like I've indicated, we are not going to allow the barricading of roads. We are not going to allow the burning of tires. We are not going to allow any lawlessness from taking place. And people, organizers of this particular planned protest must remember that prohibiting people's freedom of movement is a criminal offense, and therefore we are calling on this particular the conveners of this particular planned protest to conduct themselves in a responsible and orderly manner, and also to ensure that their participants as well they conduct themselves in a responsible and accountable manner, so that they can, if they are protesting, they protest so peacefully.
Just finally for us, ma'am, the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters mentioned that theirs is a peaceful mission, and they come in the name of peace, and they're putting their bodies on the streets in the name of the majority who are suffering in the country. And so the anticipation of violence on the part of the police, is that informed by some sort of intelligence?
Like I've indicated, we are not going to be discussing operational plans and decisions in the public domain, but safe to say that as the Net Joints, we are on high alert. Our law enforcement agencies are on the ground to monitor any incidents or acts of criminality and any lawlessness. We welcome the comments made in saying that theirs is a peaceful protest. That is exactly what we are expecting. It is their constitutional right to protest peacefully, but once there are acts of criminality, once there are acts of public violence, members of the South African Police Service, members of the Net Joints will move in to obviously uphold and enforce the law.
National Police Spokesperson, Brigadier Athlenda Mathe. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time this afternoon.